please. And who are you?
Mary Oaks with the Southern Nevada Health District.
And why are you here?
That's all the information you need. I do have a personal life, too.
I want you to say that the health district has told us that we can't serve meat from the farm, meat from any farm, unless it's been United States Department of Agriculture
Approved. Right. I knew that.
And
the issue was that it came from across the border.
Across the border, yeah.
And because it was certified by Utah, we couldn't use it here. Because the stuff that was approved by the state of Nevada, we could use. It doesn't have to be USDA, it just has to be
Why
state.
couldn't you use the vegetables?
Because once they're cut, they're biohazard materials.
Yes. And so, even though I boiled them,
and so they're forcing us to throw all the food away.
And pour bleach on it.
We can't feed it to our pigs because.
And we're not allowed to eat it.
And we're not allowed to eat it as private citizens. And we have to pour bleach on it. So.
follow the the supposed health code requirements. I'm having to throw everything away and start cooking again.
Can you tell us more about that?
I want to be able to regain my composure before I say more about it.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll tell us if we're doing something wrong.
I'll end up signing off.
Okay.
And then you will be good and I'll be able to leave.
I really think it's appalling that we live in America and we can't make choices about the food that we're planning to eat.
Especially good food, fresh, wholesome food.
Perfect food.
Yes.
And there's people starving in America and all over the world.
It's despicable with the feast that was prepared to have the order for not a valid reason for a certified chef to destroy all this food.
Exactly.
It's just an absolute shame, not because we're here, but because it's good quality food that has no reason to be destroyed.
It's alright for the USDA to let us all kill ourselves eating McDonald's, but this good wholesome stuff isn't alright. So, but that's such a terrible thing. We gotta do something about it.
What should we do?
Well, just collaborate like what we're doing now. Support your local farmers, and supporting local is where it's going to start, and then it'll spread. So.
We've been battling with our son since he was very little, just allergies and ticks and all kinds of issues. We thought he was allergic to milk, so we were force feeding him soy ice cream, soy milk. Finally, he was old enough, we thought we'll go get the allergy test, and he is severely allergic to corn and soy. Well, as we started, you start reading packages, everything is corn and soy based. So we were watching Netflix, and it said something about corn and the state of corn, so we watched it. I am so shocked that I've lived my whole life and not read a label ever. I would have never thought about organic or where my meat came from. And when I saw what the state of the meat that we're eating, and I believe this wholeheartedly, and I know he teases me like I have a theory about, there's so much depression, and our children are being, diagnosed as bipolar and all the medication they're being given. I honestly believe it's the state of the food and the meat that we're ingesting. And I know that, a happy cow, it's a California slogan, but I really think there's a lot to what you're eating. It's important that it lived a good, healthy life under God the way that He intended it. It's slaughtered and mutated and genetically modified. That is not what God intended us to eat. And I think that is impacting our children. You start seeing all these things happening to them, and the answer is always, we'll give them medication. Well, how about take the medication out of the meat and the food that you're forcing us to buy and eat?
According to official statistics, 9 out of 10 Russians have a cell phone, and the numbers of users is constantly increasing. But in recent years, the dangers of mobile communications and the increasing dependence on mobile phones have become important issues. Our Russian correspondent decided to find out if Russians are aware of the seriousness of this problem.
Russian programmer Ivan Azarov does not use cellular communication. His relatives and friends call him at his workplace or at home. Ivan says the lack of a cell phone in his life does not inconvenience him very much.
Минусов на самом деле немного. По работе я в основном нахожусь дома.
In fact, there is not much inconvenience. I'm working basically at home. At any time, I check my email or messages on social networks.
Мгновенные сообщения ВКонтакте или в другой социальной сети.
But Ivan is an exception to the rule. According to the National Center for Public Opinion Research, 90% of Russians have mobile devices, and the phones are now used not only for talking, but also for playing games and searching for information online. In June of this year, the World Health Organization officially recognized that the use of cell phones increased the risk of cancer. But giving up on cell phones for many has become difficult, because according to doctors, people have become addicted to them.
You know, the cell phone is this piece of hardware, a chipset. All of the problems are in our heads, but not in cell phones. And many thanks for their great opportunities.
Polls show that Russians are trying to lower the use of mobile phones, primarily to reduce the impact on health.
I prefer to communicate in person, but I use the phone every day, and I try to keep it at a distance from me.
On the contrary, try to get rid of it quickly, to complete the case and turn the phone off.
Nevertheless, 60% of Russians polled believe that modern man could not live without a cell phone for even one day. And in 2010, more than 34 million cellular phones were purchased in Russia. NTD News.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Saturday, November 12th, 2011, and I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. Also, YouTube, there's ddarko2012. ddarko2012, that's my YouTube channel. I'm sorry about the glitching on the videos there. You can see sometimes I have this up here, and then sometimes the task manager Windows will kind of speed things up and it'll stop the glitch. And also, I use this too. Memory optimizer, and I try to clear the clipboard and optimize and stuff. Basically, you know, and delete cookies and all that. And no matter what I do, I still get that glitching. And someone said buffer it. Well, I allow it to buffer, so I don't know what it is. But every time I record these videos, you're gonna get glitching like that. But either way, at least I'm able to play them. You know what I mean? And you get the audio, and I think you get the point. Okay, so health department tyrants raid local farm to fork picnic dinner, orders all food to be destroyed with bleach, and that's just a horrible story to hear. I mean, but it's to a lot of people, they're surprised by it. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised one bit by it, and I know why, because the state does not care about your health. Just like that woman said, to allow all this bad food to be out there, and I don't want the government to stop that. But at the same time, a good analogy is what? Is the water. It's the water. And that is what? The fluoride in the water. If the government really cared about you, they'd be putting they'd find out, okay, well, what vitamins, what nutrition or minerals are Americans most in need of, sorry, and they could say vitamin A, vitamin B, or they need magnesium or something like that. And I'm not for forced medication in the water supply. I wish it would just leave it the fuck alone, but they won't. They're gonna put bleach in it, and it's funny because they actually put chlorine in your water as well. But the thing is they don't, and they won't put vitamins in your water. They're just going to put toxic waste that they have nowhere else to put it. These companies, they can't legally dump it in places because the environmentalists don't like it. So they pay your local water municipal and your city to dump it in your water supply, and you drink it. And it's for your teeth, yet I mean, people don't gargle when they drink their tap water, right? No, they just ingest it, so it just goes straight to your body. So how the hell does that help your teeth? I don't know. People are really stupid, though, because they believe it. Just because the authorities, the doctors, say so. And the doctors also say what? They say that cell phone use is okay. They said there's no link, right? There's no link. There's no electromagnetic fields emitting from it. So, okay, moving on here. Column, marijuana growers to face more jail than child rapists under Harper's new omnibus bill. And of course, what? there's a lot of pot that's actually burned, a lot of it, and burned. And that stuff can go to feed people's families, right? And to keep people going. But no. And it could actually help people with cancer and stuff, glaucoma. They're going to actually smoke it or however they're going to do it. I heard of a friend that actually used it, and he made oil out of like hydro, and he made oil out of it. And his mom had breast cancer or esophageal cancer, something like that. Never left the couch, anything. All of a sudden, he makes this the little oil, starts using it, puts it on, applies it to the skin and that. She's up, running around, cleaning and everything, feeling the best she's ever felt. So, but see, they don't care about that. They want you to suffer and they want you to die off, right? That is the point. So I went through this use of wooden stoves on the rise in the U.S., but there's concerns about pollution and the health risks. Do you see how this works, guys? And this is why I promote a stateless society, because you cannot rationalize with a government. I mean, the whole thing about your government is a lie. In fact, you know, someone sent me a video about basically how the United States is actually a corporation, right? And the Federal Reserve is actually the owner of this and runs the country, and that it's run by the Queen of England, which is actually owned by Britain's owned by the Vatican. So I've already kind of been aware of that, but that's just the absurdity of it. It's not even our country. It is the Queen's and the Vatican's. That's it. We're just little slaves, and we just pay our way. So if you believe that the government, you're going to actually do something with the government, like these monks in Tibet are doing. They went to the UN, now they're going to the US to ask for help. You're not going to get help. You're going to get a boot in the fucking face, and they're going to tell you to get away. Unless you have something to give to them, they don't want to hear your shit. Flu vaccine less effective than thought, study finds. So they find that the flu vaccine is less effective, meaning, oh, okay, so maybe we should stop taking it. No, it says here, leaving too many people vulnerable to infection, especially if a particularly dangerous pandemic occurred. Ooh, so if a laboratory released a bioweapon on the sheeple, i.e. a pandemic. And yeah, so it goes in here, and it says that this newer nasal spray flu vaccine is about 83% effective. And they're actually going on, the experts, and saying the findings underscore the need to develop more effective flu vaccines. Progress is slow on moving surplus swine flu vaccine to countries that need it. This is February 1st, 2010. Then we have this article, once scarce H1N1 vaccines now getting dumped. April 2010, half of the government's massive stockpile of these H1N1 vaccines remain unused and are set to expire because what? Oh, the people didn't want them. They started to wise up. And I did a little vaccine campaign in my neck of the woods in, 2009. And guess what? I put over 500 flyers up that were going to help inform the public to not take those vaccines. And what happened? Oh, I got threatened by code enforcement by the city, $50 per violation if I didn't remove them. But the funny thing is before I could even go remove them, they were already removed. The hidden hand. I wonder who removed them. Because they care about the public's health, especially for the hospital where I just blanketed them. And the healthcare workers, they know better. Fearful UK healthcare workers refuse vaccines, and US nurses are being fired over it. This was at the beginning of this year, older news, but drug companies set to donate vaccines to the poor countries. You like that? 4/15/2010. Give them to the poor. It's eugenics anyways. Autism may begin in the womb. So this is a new article. Scientists have found that with boys, autism has a larger than average brains. Oh, so they're not always smarter, but it happens in the womb. It has nothing to do with vaccines. Wakefield's colleagues in Spotlight says here the inquiry calls for a role in the academics who linked vaccine to autism and going in there and basically saying that this guy is a fraud. But the funny thing is what? Documents emerged proving Wakefield's innocent, and the BMJ medical journal were caught misrepresenting the facts. Then moving on, BMJ admits that fraud claim against Dr. Andrew Wakefield has no basis in facts. Recent article, 300,000 doses of flu vaccine Prefacil withdrawn in alert over side effects. Then we have Gardasil victims take action, legal action against Merck over miscarriages and deadly reactions. That was the purpose. Vaccine that could end the misery of acne for millions of teenagers. So they got a vaccine for acne now. It says here, new malaria vaccine shows effectiveness in children. And it was, of course, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation who held a trial, i.e. they were experimenting on poor people. Then in Massachusetts, residents vote to stop water fluoridation. While real marijuana is being burned in the fields, fake marijuana may cause heart trouble in teens. Thank you.